What's good, TMG fam? It's your boy Ellen. I'm back with another reaction. How y'all feel? Welcome back to the channel. Salute. So, get a load of this title right here, bro. Family takes a photo. Wife files for divorce after seeing this detail. Now, right now, your mind could be going in several different places. I don't even care where it goes, but she filed for divorce after seeing this detail in the photo, I'm guessing. The title was kind of vague, and if whoever created the title did it to draw me in, it worked. Can't even lie. Can't even lie, it worked. It worked. Family takes photos. I just sat here and just stared at the title for a moment. I was like, family takes photo, wife files for divorce after seeing this detail. And in the thumbnail, I'm gonna show you the thumbnail. In the thumbnail, it's the circle. You've probably already seen it by now. So I'm like, what did she see? Oh, we gotta hear this story, y'all. So we gotta find out what's going on. So listen, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, join the fam, and we're gonna talk about this. This might be a good discussion topic for today. All right, so subscribe. Moment of silence for the haters. That's enough. Now run the likes up. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Let's go. Disclaimer.
Father takes photo, wife files for divorce after seeing this detail. Fighting back tears, she reached for the photo again and scrutinized it once more. Her heart pounded out of her chest as she came to the startling.
Now the daughter is holding his hand. Now I do see somewhat of looks like a wedding band on that hand. Is that? I don't know. I'm speculating now.
Realization. With puffy eyes and a distressed voice, Susan shoved the photo in front of her husband's face and demanded that he explain what was going on. His answer left her shocked. One of the most important things in our society right now is our family, and the time we spend bonding and growing with our family is absolutely priceless. When you spend time together as a family, you'll want to capture those special moments and look back on them. What better way to preserve those precious memories than with a family photo shoot? Allowing your children to see your photographs from the past and present helps them feel more connected to their own story. The picture below looks like an ordinary photo of an ordinary family, but nothing could be further from the truth, because when the mother saw this photo, she immediately filed for divorce. Do you see why? This family photo shoot was intended to capture special moments for the family. What could this woman have noticed from the photo? What stood out to her? What did she realize that she hadn't previously realized? You might be perplexed why she decided to file for divorce after noticing something in a family photograph. She never thought that the photo shoot she had organized for her family would turn into a nightmare. A picture is worth 1,000 words, as the saying goes. This picture undoubtedly revealed something to this woman. When she looked at the photo on her way home, something occurred to her that she didn't think was possible. The photo would reveal a secret that her husband had kept for her from a long time. Secrets always end up surfacing from one day to the next. Even if we hope to keep it to the grave, an event like this photo shoot can turn it all off. This family appeared to be a happy family, as evidenced by the photo. What could a photograph have revealed to her that she had missed in person? Was there something about her husband that she didn't know about? She zoomed in on her husband's hand, even though she was completely taken aback. It wasn't possible, was it? This confirmed her suspicions about her husband, which she had been harboring for some time. She now had the evidence that she had been looking for. Susan noticed that her daughter was holding her father's hand, which she recognized as being uncontrollably fidgety on that particular day. She needed to zoom in on the awkward interaction to gain a better understanding of what was going on in the situation. Susan, 38, and John, 45, had been together since college. They were one of those couples who are expected to stay together forever. They met for the first time in high school and quickly became sweethearts. A few months after they graduated from high school, Susan discovered she was pregnant with their child. Even though they were completely surprised by the pregnancy, they decided to rise to the occasion and begin a new life together. Everything in their lives was going swimmingly. They both had excellent jobs that allowed them to live the lives they had always desired, a lovely home and 2 wonderful children. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough for John. The day this family photo was taken, Susan discovered that her husband had been keeping a big secret for years. She missed this detail all her life and was finally going to realize it. Instead of being happy the day they took the photo, he appeared unusually nervous. He was fidgeting with his hands as he prepared for the photo shoot. Susan chose to ignore his inappropriate behavior and follow the photographer.
All right, the suspense is killing me, bro. Get to the point. Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. We 3 minutes in, and he keep dancing around like I mess with him though. I like the video. He know how to do it. He has a way of drawing you in.
Photographer's instructions. Her curiosity about what was going through his mind was uncontrollable. When she discovered the reason for this in the photograph, it completely turned her world upside down. Susan, however, was oblivious and delighted with her life. Susan and John were celebrating their 15th wedding anniversary. They appeared to be in the kind of relationship that most people could only wish for. As a result, Susan decided to organize a family photo shoot to commemorate the occasion and capture the life she considered herself to be so blessed to have. Susan thought a moment like this, when all is well and you are at the peak of your happiness, had to be immortalized. So she contacted a photographer she had met through a colleague. He replied to her message almost immediately and said that the shoot could take place the next day. Susan was thrilled to have been able to have a date so quickly, and luck appeared to be on her side. Having this opportunity to spend quality time together, capture this beautiful moment, and be thankful for how far they have come as a family seemed like an excellent opportunity for them.
All right, so now what I'm thinking, okay, let's see, because it's driving me crazy. So let me let you in on what I'm thinking in my head, right? It's obvious that they have the circle around the hand, so we automatically look at the wedding ring, okay? What my first thought is, okay, maybe they got married and they were like me and Queen. When me and Queen got married, we couldn't afford wedding rings. You know what I'm saying? So, and we didn't let that stop us, and we got married at the courthouse. So we knew we loved each other. We knew we wanted to be married. We knew we wanted to be with each other. We went and got it done. Bump a ring. A ring don't define your love and all that type of stuff like that. So I'm looking at that like saying maybe he had the wedding ring on and she like, where's that wedding ring from? We never had a ring. Okay, that was my first thought. The second thought is, okay, who is this photographer that they hired? That would make somebody nervous. Maybe he knows the photographer. Maybe he's in a relationship that she doesn't know with the photographer that she hired. Come around, the photographer shows up, he gets fidgety. Don't know how to control himself because he's having a secret life with this photographer. So those are the two things that I'm speculating. Or the daughter, maybe it's something to do with the daughter. Maybe the daughter, I looked at the photo, I tried to analyze the photo and look, but the daughter looks like the mom, the son looks like the dad. So I'm trying to say like, is the kids not theirs? But they look just like them. So I don't know. This is where I'm at in my mind. I had to brain dump that out real quick.
For Susan, it was a sign that everything is fine for her and her entire family. She never expected that anything could go wrong. It was a beautiful sunny fall day. The leaves were already slightly discolored, but the weather was still pleasant and warm. John, however, seemed unable to take advantage of the good weather. Nervously, he played with his shirt as they waited for the photographer. Susan found this strange, but decided not to tell him about it. John didn't like photographs, and she knew that. This was probably the reason for his awkward behavior. Susan looked at her family with a contented expression. While her heart was overflowing with gratitude and love, she noticed that something about his expression didn't quite match her own when she looked at her husband. But as the photographer crossed the lawn towards them, John's face lost all of its colors, and it turned white as if he had seen a ghost. He was trying as best he could to hide his discomfort. What was causing John to feel this way? Anyone can attest that this was a happy occasion that demanded a happy emotion, but John's reaction was enough to alert Susan that something was wrong. Susan's mind must have been racing with questions about why her husband was acting strangely on their anniversary when he should have been happy. The photographer warmly welcomed the family. He had visited Susan and John several times, and the family had always enjoyed his company. However, John didn't know how to behave. With a nervous smile on his face, he looked at the camera, but deep down, he was cracking. He could barely keep his composure in front of the camera. John's behavior was not only obvious to Susan, but also to the photographer, who could tell something was wrong. When someone has a secret to hide and is afraid that their secret will be discovered, their body language indicates something wrong. Clearly, John was inept at concealing his body language and keeping Susan from developing suspicions. When Susan received the family photos in her inbox the next day, she couldn't wait to be home after work to see them. Full of impatience, she returned home that day. Once home, she opened her laptop and clicked on the photo file. One by one, she went through the photos. The photographer had outdone himself. They were awesome. The photographer did an excellent job. She must have considered how she will need the photographer's services for future family photos. The photograph included her husband, and their two adorable children. If you didn't know Susan discovered something strange about this photograph, you'd think this was a happy family with two committed and faithful couples. But one of the photographs left her perplexed. You might not notice it instantly, but Susan noticed something was wrong with this photo right away. Susan noticed something odd on John's finger, and it was probably easy to notice because John's daughter was holding his finger in the picture. It was as if Susan's daughter had unknowingly revealed John's long-hidden secret to her. What finger was Susan's daughter holding? Susan's daughter was holding John's ring finger. Susan could easily see and notice what was wrong at the picture because of her daughter. John looked uncomfortable while smiling for the camera. Susan wondered why he was acting so nervously that day. As far as she knew, John didn't have a phobia for cameras. Something must have made her husband uneasy, she reasoned. Susan remembered the strange looks exchanged between John and the photographer and how John was sweating before the photo shoot. It's the kind of look that draws attention and casts doubt on it. And she was absolutely correct. Something was wrong. Susan, surprised, put her hand in front of her covered mouth with her hand when she noticed the obvious fact that her daughter was pointing out in the picture. This can't be true, can it? Slowly, she zoomed in on her husband's hand. Unfortunately, this had confirmed what Susan had been secretly fearful of for some time. Her husband loved someone else. The ring on his finger was not their wedding ring, but a gift from a childhood friend. John's hand confirmed her suspicion.
I knew it! It had, well, I mean, they made it painfully obvious with the circle on it, but the way he danced around it made you kind of doubt that, okay, that may be too, well, what's the story here? What's the story here? Is it you put that on your ring finger to represent your love for somebody else? This photo's gonna get out, and what if you was bold enough? That's what let's back it up. Yeah. Let's let's back it up. You were bold enough to wear the wedding ring around your finger in the presence of your wife. Why are you nervous? You wanted her to know. Putting it on your finger don't sound like somebody who's trying to keep it a secret to me. You wanted her to know. If you didn't, who's gonna miss that, bro? Listen. Fellas, we all know women, right? A woman's gonna notice that your ring finger that you proposed and that you used and you pledged your vows in front of, and you slid on your finger, she's gonna know that that's not the one that you used for y'all's marriage. And then if y'all don't have rings, she's gonna notice if you put a ring on your ring finger. Who did you think you was fooling? No, you was bold. I don't know why you was nervous.
For years, she suspected that he was in love with the man he had met in high school and that he loved men. Her mind raced as she tried to figure out why he was wearing that thing. She examined every curve of the ring and was sure that John was not wearing their wedding ring. There was no way she could be wrong about this. Surprised, Susan closed her laptop and stared in front of her mirror for a moment, dazed. And then she suddenly saw it all with crystal clear clarity. She reached for the photo again, fighting back the tears, and compared the two rings. Then she saw everything crystal clear. Everything appears to be in order because she recalls specific events, most notably John's reaction in front of the photographer. Her heart pounded out of her chest, and she realized what had happened. Susan decided to confront her husband about the situation. When he got home from work, she waited for him in the living room. Susan's thoughts raced around in her head, hoping that what she was thinking wasn't true. Susan was filled with despair and shock as she waited for her husband to return home from work. Why wasn't he wearing her engagement ring anymore? How could she have missed it until now? How could she have overlooked the fact for 15 years? Why did her husband keep it hidden from her? She finally got her answers when he walked through the door. She prepared for this discussion, could take place under the best possible conditions. Because of this, she asked the neighbor to watch the children in order to prevent them from overhearing their conversation.
It's never good there, fellas. You know you're in trouble when you come home. The wife's standing in the living room, probably like got that thing in her hand. You know how they stand with their hand dripped over to the side like that, waiting on you, holding something. Yeah, you know what? You should have known. Period. You should have been prepared. He should have been. And then on top of that, hey, honey, where's the kids? They're at the neighbors. Figure we need to talk. You should know them what time it is.
Conversation or seeing them argue. Susan showed John the picture and demanded that he explain what was going on. Her eyes were puffy and her voice distressed as she confronted her husband. When John saw her sitting alone, he knew the time to face reality had finally arrived. He sat down across from her and let out a deep sigh, and then he told her everything. John finally had the courage to confess everything to his wife. He could no longer keep his heavy secret. He owed that to his wife. He confessed he was struggling with his sexuality and was afraid to tell his wife. We must also acknowledge that he did not want to hurt Susan because they already had children and were a family. The fact that he confessed everything to his wife demonstrates love and, more importantly, responsibility, something he struggled to say honestly before being unmasked. So he was certainly fearful.
Let's hear that again.
And was afraid to tell his wife. We must also acknowledge that he did not want to hurt Susan because they already had children and were a family. The fact that he confessed everything to his wife demonstrates love and, more importantly, responsibility.
How y'all feel about that statement? Is it just me? Just let me know if it's just me that don't necessarily 100% agree with that statement.
Something he struggled to say honestly before being unmasked. So he was certainly fearful if he was having difficulty talking about it with those around him, especially his wife. His family meant a great deal to him. It couldn't have been easy for him to tell his wife he liked men, but that wasn't the end of it. The charming photographer who had visited them several times turned out to be more than just a friend of the family. In fact, John and the photographer had been dating for quite some time.
Boom! Drop the mic. Only thing I got right here is my phone. I'm not gonna drop my phone, but drops mic. I said it. Only thing that's gonna make a dude get nervous was he see somebody that he's secretly intimate with that the wife doesn't know about. So when that photographer showed up, I knew it had to be something there for him to get all nervous and fidgety. I knew it.
This is precisely why Susan's husband found it difficult to feel at ease around her when the photographer was present at their family photo shoot. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. Her perfect life was shattered all of a sudden. However, she reacted very differently than John had anticipated. But that wasn't the end of it. When John finished his story and sat down sobbing in front of her on the couch, she put a hand on his knee.
She gonna tell him, I know, and I've been with your brother. Then she gonna say something like that.
With a sad smile on her face, she looked at her husband. She wasn't angry. It's all right, darling. I forgive you. There's not much more to say about it. Susan understood everything, which is why she was not angry. She imagined how hard it must have been to keep this secret to himself for a long time because he didn't want to hurt her. Suddenly everything felt like a lie to Susan. Their wedding day and that ring meant so much to her. How could he just lose it and not say it to her? How could he have lied to her all this time? She didn't believe him when he said he was telling the truth and acted out rashly. The next day, she filed for divorce. Did she make the right decision? After some time had passed, John was relentless in trying to persuade her that he was telling the truth. Eventually, she succumbed and believed that he was telling the truth. But what do you think? If the same situation happened to you, would you believe him? Or do you think Susan was too forgiving to John's odd behavior?
Listen, now that last part, there's never nothing nobody can tell you. You have to go with your heart. You have to go with your instincts. You have to go with what you think is best for you and your family and your children and you moving forward. I can't say, oh, you should just leave him. Or I can say, no, you should stay. There's no way I can tell you that. You know what I mean? Because that's a decision you have to live with. You know, it's a lot of people that'll jump in and say, oh, leave him. And to a certain extent, I agree with that. And there's some people that say, if it's your family, you fight for it. To a certain extent, I can agree with that. So that's a decision you have to make because ultimately you have to live with your decision and vice versa on him. He had a decision to make and he has to live with that decision. He has to live with the outcome. He has to live with how the children view him going forward, how they respond to this, to a broken family, what it does to your family. You have to take all that into account. You know, it's hard to think about that when we're making the mistakes that we make. But ultimately, you have to think about that at the end. So, I don't know, man. Y'all get at me in the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought. What were y'all's, before we knew what was going on, y'all let me know what y'all were thinking. Where did you think the story was going? And then the outcome, how do you feel about it? Y'all get at me in the comment section. It's your boy L. Till the next reaction, I'm out. Peace, y'all. Stay solid. I'm gone.